This is Binghamton Now on News Radio 1290 WNBF Binghamton and WNBF.com.
I'm Bob Joseph. It's time for another live presentation from the WNBF Global Headquarters in New York. The Binghamton Now program has commenced. The phone number 607-772-1290. Now is a good time to join us and participate. The program is driven by you, the listener. So if you want to take the program for a spin, your official access number is 607-772-1290. And at 9:10, we say, good morning, you're caller number one. Congratulations. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Well, my first name is John. Maybe you've heard of me, and I live in Binghamton.
Welcome
have
to
you
the
heard
broadcast. Of me? I have heard of you. I used to see, they had a cable show back in the day, back in the 60s.
I could have been another Alex Jones. What happened?
Just be thankful it didn't go that way.
Yeah. Bob, last night, the Vestal Town Board approved the greatest tax and spending budget in its history, particularly because now in 2025, the fire department expenses are totally out of the budget. So it's a whopper. Maria Sexton ran on streamlining and cost cutting. There's a very interesting article. If you want to compare Maria Sexton's reality of her first year with what's happening now, what she executed, it's in the Binghamton University Pipe Dream. It's an interview, if you will, between Maria Sexton and John Schaefer. Very, very enlightening. But anyway, last night and she's for transparency and having people come to the table. But last night she shut down the meeting, Bob, on me. She refused to allow me to speak, to get my point out. And what I spoke about was something that is actually in the minutes of the November 2023 meeting, where my name was mentioned and various defamatory statements were made. So in an effort to correct that, I began talking, and she interrupted me numerous times and then shut the meeting down because she didn't want to hear my viewpoints. And it was odd because, the same old canards, this is not town business. Of course it's town business because false police reports were filed with the town, and it's in the minutes of the meeting. So she would not allow me the courtesy, or actually, she would not allow me my First Amendment rights, and shut down the meeting. So freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, her oath of office means nothing to her. And I think between this and the Bun Hill Road project, where, you knew if there was going to be a legal battle, that it was going to be costly. And when you led the people to believe that you were going to fight the Bun Hill Road project and then capitulated because of legal expenses, and you got elected on the tumult of that issue, most of those people now on the board are the creation of the tumult of the Bun Hill Road project. So anyway, very disappointed in Maria Sexton. Just another fake, phony fraud. And we'll see what happens with the constitutional rights that she violated.
All right. Well, I appreciate the update.
Yes.
Please keep me posted.
Thank you.
It's 9:14 WNBF. Let's see. I wasn't going to mention this. Well, not right away, but now I see it on Twitter. So let me bring up John Bones Jones. since it came up on Monday's program, John Bones Jones. By the way, in the interest of transparency, John Bones Jones is a Tiger from Union Endicott, as am I. So we both attended the same high school. Not at the same time. Not at the same time. He was not a classmate. So let's see. A story. This is related to what came up yesterday about John Bones Jones and President-elect Donald John Trump. Let's see. And this was, I guess, posted by Brian Stelter, who is a media analyst, works for CNN News. And this is Brian Stelter wrote this apparently on his blog. The UFC is a massive media brand, of course, and Trump's, that is President-elect Donald John Trump's, theatrical presence at MSG on Saturday, quote, was a moment that crossed over from politics into cultural iconography. I don't know. I haven't pronounced that word. I can say iconograph. Anyway, it's that's according to Steve Krakauer, a contributor to News Nation and columnist for The Hill. Krakauer, who also produces Megyn Kelly's show, told me, apparently referring to Brian Stelter, it showed that the permission structure around supporting Trump has been completely obliterated. He is cool, and it's okay to say it. His appeal has crossed over the political divide into the cultural. See UFC champion John Jones doing the Trump dance after his win. All right, so it's just a reference to John Jones doing the Trump dance the other night. So anyway, since it came up and since there were people who mentioned the dance, I still haven't seen the dance. Maybe it's like the twist. But, so, still haven't received a call from John Bones Jones either. Or his people. Nor do I expect. I do not expect to hear from John Bones Jones or his people. Oh, I don't. What else is going on today? Let's see. Well, here's a question. Thank you. By the way, listeners, sometimes they have news tips and sometimes they just have questions about certain stories that have been reported in the past. So thank you to the listener who actually has a pretty good question. So we'll try to update that story. Let's see. Of course, we have to plow through a lot of the dreck that comes in here from various places. Apparently, they want to send me all sorts of bogus news ideas. Not news tips, just things they're pitching. That's their job. They're PR people. Jesse from Owego writes that he can handle the thing, apparently, with John Bones Jones dancing. He says, I can handle that over the legal weed shop. I can only imagine what else is in store. You never know. Good point, Jesse. I am aware of a couple of stories that fall into the category of you never know. I can't talk about them yet, but there are a couple things going on around here that would certainly fit under the heading of you never know. Okay? You truly never know. What else is going on? Oh, WNBF.com. I think it would be appropriate to mention on our favorite website. One of the top stories, water fluoridation. So this has come up on the program in the past. We did have a segment last August about water fluoridation with a person who strongly opposes adding fluoride to public drinking water supplies. So we were covering this, or at least doing an interview on this last summer, and sort of the reason we did that interview was because the person was in town in Binghamton to meet with members of a Binghamton commission, the Commission for Conservation of the Environment, invited a person who has some strong views. He's outspoken when it comes to the issue of fluoride. And now fluoride is suddenly all the rage. Everybody is talking about fluoride. And so check out our story at WNBF.com if you want to see the recommendation that a commission is making. A commission voted 5-4 to recommend to City Council that they stop adding fluoride to drinking water. So that's on our website, WNBF.com. We can talk about that. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? The city of Binghamton, I believe, was the first municipality in Broome County to add delicious fluoride to its drinking water, and they've been doing it for 60 years. They started in February 1964, and they just won't stop. But now a city commission wants to put a stop to adding this dangerous chemical into the water. Now, I say dangerous chemical. It's dangerous like a lot of chemicals are if you don't treat it right. It's not going to kill you just drinking it, but they have to take precautions over at the water treatment facility, the filtration place. When the workers add fluoride, the workers have to take precautions because in the form that it arrives to the water filtration plant, in that form, it's dangerous. So they have to be very careful when they handle the fluoride before they add it to your drinking water. So if you have thoughts about this proposal and thoughts about what City Council should do, if anything, feel free to call us. It's Binghamton Now, WNBF.
KSO Insurance Weekly Spotlight with Karen Sweet O'Neill on News Radio 1290 WNBF.
And this live segment is sponsored by KSO Insurance Solutions. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am fine, thank you.
Good. So I thought today we would just do our regular segment because I won't be on tomorrow. Is that okay with you?
That is absolutely okay.
Okay. My schedule is not permitting it tomorrow. So anyway, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the transition that occurred with the IBM retirees 2 years ago. And why are we doing that? Well, because there's money being kept on the table, and we don't want people to lose out on their resources. So what am I talking about? Well, when IBM decided to contract with United Healthcare for a group Medicare Advantage plan with two options for the retirees, they said, you know what? If you go with this option, whether it's the essential plan or the enhanced plan, that will be good because your HRA, and that's the amount of money that was put into their accounts for them, for the IBM retirees to reimburse themselves for their medical and prescription costs. They said that's going to go away. So what we've done instead is we have contracted with, like I said, United Healthcare, and they put in place a group Medicare Advantage plan, two plans actually, that are really actually very good. But a lot of people, converted over and some people didn't. But to enhance them to convert over, Bob, IBM said, if you convert over, then we're going, for your troubles, we're going to give you a transition allowance. And that transition allowance was anywhere from $500 up to $1,200. And they put it on a credit card. It's called Optum RX. And they sent it out to the retiree. Well, why are we talking about it? We're talking about it because a lot of people got the card. Some people used it. Some people just put it in their wallet or their purse and never looked at it again. However, December 31st of this year, all the monies that are on that card are going to expire. So it's use it or lose it. And we never like to see people lose anything. So what can you do? Take your card out. If you have an Optum RX card, flip it over, and there is an 800 number that you call directly into them. And they will tell you what your balance is, and they will also confirm your expiration date of December 31st, 2024. And don't be fooled by the date that's on the front of the card, because it really doesn't make any difference, because the dates a lot of times are 2026. It does not apply. So how do you spend your money? Well, it'd be nice if you could just go Christmas shopping, right, Bob? But that's not the case. However, you can go to a pharmacy. You can purchase anything medically related, whether it's a blood pressure cuff, the apparatus that you put your finger in and it checks your pulse and your oxygen level. Those are really good to have handy around the house. Battery-operated thermometer. All these things are very expensive. And those you can just bring to the counter along with your card, and they will allow that. Now, you can also do vitamins. You can do any over-the-counter medications. You can do energy drinks and things of that nature. And if you have a dental bill, or you're going to the dentist, or you have an eye appointment, and you already did, and you paid for it, or medical, of course, and any kind of hospitalization or prescription drug coverage, you can get reimbursed by that Optum RX card, and they will send you out a claim form if necessary. So you definitely want to call the back of your card, just figure out, do I have a balance? What is my balance? And you can ask them questions directly on what you can spend it on. But all of those things we just mentioned, you certainly have options to do that. So very important, take advantage of the transition allowance that was afforded you because you worked for it. And we are still taking open enrollment appointments. However, we are very limited. But you can give us a call and schedule an appointment. If we have an opening, we are at 607-772-4898. You can Google us at KSO Insurance, and all our contact information comes up, including our website. If you miss the phone number, go to a phone book. We have a big display ad under insurance, and we are at 1708 Vestal Parkway East, up around back of Plato's Closet and Style Encore. You drive right up to us, one level. And that's all I have to say, Bob.
All right. I think that's a lot of food for thought.
Yeah. Well, we don't like people, hey, we don't want them to lose out. It's their money.
Now, I don't even know how that's legal.
Well, because that's the way they set up the program.
No, I know it's how they set it up. No, I fully respect that, and clearly they wouldn't do it if it's illegal. My simple statement is I don't know how it's legal. No, obviously they're doing everything they're allowed to do, and I would do it too. It doesn't mean I like it, because here's what I think.
Doesn't mean I like it either.
Well, exactly. I mean, who likes it? You get money, you think, oh, good,
right.
I can use this money for important things, for health or whatever. And it's like, oh, but if I don't use it by December 31st, I don't have it anymore. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. And again, I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. No, they're doing everything right because that's how they set it up. I'm just saying, speaking one person to another, I'm not judgmental. I'm just, I'm concerned about the people.
Right. Right. Well, they could be a little more forthcoming, Bob, with the communication.
Oh, they could.
So people know.
They could put out ads on like on the radio.
Think about it. That's money that's... Yeah.
Why not put out, buy commercials on WNBF radio and run them 5 or 6 times an hour over between now and December 30th. And that way, everybody knows that they need to act quickly if they don't want to lose their money. And that way, because I believe a fully informed consumer is the best.
I agree.
Educate the people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm about.
Don't keep it a secret.
Oh, no.
Let them know they've got the card and, how to use it.
And it's fine. Again, I'm not being critical. That's not me.
No.
I'm just speaking out on behalf of the average person. And they all listen to Binghamton Now.
Well, a lot of people listen to it.
Yes.
And, hopefully if people are like, wait a minute, I've got one of those cards, I think.
Or if you know someone.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Yeah. Don't just think of yourself. Think about your friends, your relatives who might not know this information, and say, what I heard this morning from Karen Sweet O'Neill is something you might want to look into.
Find that card and call them back.
Absolutely. You'll be glad you did. And this segment sponsored by KSO Insurance Solutions. Karen, thank you.
You bet. Have a great day, Bob.
You too.
Thanks.
9:33 WNBF. Bob Joseph on your side. Speaking out for the average viewer. 607-772-1290 if you would like to discuss things that need to be talked about on the radio. Now is the time. This is the place. 92.1 FM, 1290 AM, online at WNBF.com.
There's a book that...
It's 9:36 WNBF presenting the weather as prepared by the National Weather Service. Increasing clouds today, high 53, mostly cloudy tonight with a slight chance of showers, low 41. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, high 57. Rain Thursday, high 45. Right now it's 37 in downtown Binghamton. That's 3 Celsius. Air quality, well, not as good as it ought to be. The category is moderate for Binghamton's air quality index. It's 55. If you have a problem with particle pollution, consider reducing your activity level or shorten the amount of time you're active outdoors. Maybe it's from the smoke. I don't know. I think it is. Or maybe it's from something else. I don't know. It's just not, the air is not as clean as it normally is. WNBF coming up later today. More talk, more often with Dan Bongino from noon to 3, Sean Hannity from 3 to 6, and the amazing Mark Levin from 6 to 9. Of course, the other thing that you should consider about WNBF is that we offer your first look at news on First News Binghamton. Aptly named. They were clever. Whoever comes up with the program names here at WNBF is one clever person. First News Binghamton, tomorrow morning from 6 to 9 with Don Morgan. And we did mention earlier WNBF.com with plenty of fine local reporting. And I encourage you to check it out. I already have a couple of stories that are planned for later today and, well, maybe even some breaking news. There is a possibility of some breaking news at some point today. The thing about breaking news, it always seems to happen when you least expect it. It's the one thing we can't do anything about. Well, couldn't you schedule the breaking news, say, at 12:30? So we know when to check the website? Well, yeah, I guess we could schedule it, but not sure we can guarantee that we'll have breaking news at 12:30. Maybe there will be, or maybe we're going to have to wait till 4:30. You just never know, because the news breaks on its own cycle. I think one of the interesting stories that you may find intriguing at WNBF.com, fine dining establishment, a new restaurant has just opened in Endicott. So we try to keep you in the loop when new places are popping up, because places pop up. Sometimes places expand. Sometimes they get sold. Sometimes they even close. I mean, we're part of the community, so we celebrate when something opens, and sometimes we find ourselves disappointed when we report on a business that closes. It's always disappointing to have to share that sort of story with you, but it's part of the life cycle. Everything starts, sometimes thrives for a while, and then sometimes, for whatever reason, it comes to an end. Anyway, there is a new restaurant on Washington Avenue in Endicott. Take a look. See for yourself. Behind the scenes, a first look at the new Arashiyama Sushi and Steakhouse on Washington Avenue. It's interesting. I've been keeping an eye on this project for nearly a year. And we've done some updates over the last several months, but finally, the place had a soft opening over the weekend, and then on Monday they were ready to announce to the world that come and check us out. So we stopped by to take a look at what's transpired. A lot happened since the property was acquired 11 months ago. A little over 11 months ago. So they have transformed it, and looks beautiful. A lot of work went into that. As we report in our story at WNBF.com, the restaurant has an initial staff of 17 employees, but they are looking to hire additional servers. So if you have been a server, you have some experience, and would be interested in that, you could stop by, and it looks to me like it would be a good opportunity to serve the public. It's 9:42, WNBF, WNBF.com. Now we shift gears, or is it we change gears? So whatever it is, and I'm always reluctant. You know me. I really don't want to have to talk about this, but the Fox administration will get underway in just over 2 months. So with all the Fox people coming in to make America different again, the MATA crowd, MATA? Is that how they make America different again? The MATA crowd, the Fox administration, is coming in to make things different. It will be different. That's how different will it be? I don't know. A lot of people are worried. For me, I'm cautiously optimistic. That's how I look at it. What I've heard from people in the past, sometimes people say, well, Bob, the reason people are concerned is because they're frightened by change. They worry about change. Well, yeah, change is scary. People are not comfortable with change. Even if things aren't perfect right now in America or wherever you happen to be, even if it's not perfect, you may not like the prospect of change, because at least now, what's going on now, you kind of think you understand. Maybe you really don't understand, but you think you understand. But going forward, who knows what the heck? Am I right? Who knows what's going to happen in 2 months? And I think that's the big issue. I don't think it's specific. Well, okay, for some people it is specific. There are specific things that people are worried about. And then for some people, they're just generally concerned because there will be changes. That's all I know. That's all I know. Between now, the Biden administration and the Fox administration, it's going to be different. And we may have to wait at least 4 years to find out what the impact will be. So here's a story, and this is from CBS News. 2 women interviewed by the House Ethics Committee about former Congressman Matt Gaetz, who is the choice for U.S. Attorney General. They testified Gaetz paid them directly and repeatedly for sex. So this is CBS News. This is not me reporting. This is according to a story written by Catherine Watson and Michael Kaplan at cbsnews.com. So the claim is that Matt Gaetz paid 2 women repeatedly in Venmo transactions for sex, and that those transactions were obtained by the committee, the House Ethics Committee. So if that's true, that doesn't look good. Now, this is according to an attorney for the 2 women. His name is Joel Leopard. He said the women testified Gaetz inquired in text messages about party favors and vitamins for the parties in Florida. Well, I don't know if they were all in Florida. Who knows? I don't know if it makes a difference whether they were in Florida or Endwell. So party favors, does everybody have, or will the party favors be there? Or will there be vitamins for the party? Clever, using code words for drugs, allegedly. This report from CBS News says the attorney claimed his clients testified that they attended parties from 2017 to 2019 where Gaetz was present and sex and drug use took place. In an interview with Major Garrett of CBS News, the attorney, Leopard, said one of his clients testified before the House Ethics Committee that she witnessed Gaetz having sex with a 17-year-old girl against, well, I'm not going to. She said she saw Gaetz having sex with a 17-year-old girl at a party in 2017. Gaetz was sworn into Congress in January 2017. The party allegedly occurred in July of that year. So Gaetz has denied all wrongdoing, including having sex with a minor. After CBS News published the initial story and then put it on the CBS Evening News, a transition spokesman, Alex Pfeiffer, put out a statement that said Matt Gaetz will be the next attorney general. He's the right man for the job and will end the weaponization of our justice system. These are baseless allegations intended to derail the second Trump administration. It's 9:48 WNBF. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from? It's probably Alex Pfeiffer trying to get through to elaborate on his statement. Well, the statement that transition spokesman Alex Pfeiffer gave to CBS News also said the Biden Justice Department investigated Gaetz for years and cleared him of wrongdoing. The only people who went to prison over these allegations were those who were lying about Matt Gaetz. And it is true, federal prosecutors investigated Gaetz but ended the probe last year without filing charges. Now the House Ethics Committee is considering whether to release its report, which investigated allegations that Gaetz engaged in sexual misconduct, illegal drug use, and bribery. So Leopard said his clients, the two unnamed women, want the public to know they're telling the truth. One of the clients said in a text to the attorney, regardless of how many times he tries to distract from the truth, the public deserves to know that what we all experienced was real and actually happened. The attorney said, my clients are not political. They didn't vote in the last two elections. They don't care one way or another, but they do want the public to know that they are not lying. They did not come forward willingly. They have never spoken to anyone without a force of a legal subpoena. And he continued, if the American people would know, then they could decide if that's the person they want to be the next attorney general. One of the things that I saw a comment, I think it was online on Monday, and I think it's true. Why wouldn't everyone want the report prepared by the House Ethics Committee? Why wouldn't everyone want that released, including Matt Gaetz? If he did nothing wrong, the report would say, we looked into all the allegations and we conclude Matt Gaetz did nothing wrong. So if that's the truth, if his former colleagues in the House of Representatives who are on the Ethics Committee, if that committee and their investigators looked into allegations swirling around Matt Gaetz and then concluded he did nothing wrong, that would be good. That would exonerate him. So that alone seems to be enough of a reason for Matt Gaetz to demand that the report be released. Insist. Just insist. Insist that it be released. Let the chips fall where they may. Yes, allegations. I know anyone can make allegations, especially about somebody as prominent as Matt Gaetz. So when you think about it, just get the information out there. Put it to rest once and for all. It's 9:52 WNBF, WNBF.com. Let's see if there's anything in our big stack of stuff. I think I saw something that I wanted to put on the air from the remarkable stack of stuff that they give us here every day. Oh, here's something else, just so you don't run out of things to worry about. So Ukraine now is observing the 1,000th day since Russia started its invasion. So President Zelensky is addressing the European Parliament. So the Ukraine president is urging allies not to lose hope after they continue the fight that's been going on now for 1,000 days.
Together, Ukraine, all of Europe, and our partners in America and around the world, we have succeeded not only in preventing Putin from taking Ukraine, but also in defending the freedom of all European nations.
So here we are, 1,000 days later. Things are getting even more serious. So who knows how this conflict, this war, could spiral out of control. Because it seems like it could spiral out of control right now at any given time. It's a real mess. President Zelensky, during his remote address to the European Parliament earlier today, did thank Europe for providing support, even as Russia does try to build up its forces against Ukraine.
Even with North Korea's Kim Jong-un, but by his side, Putin remains smaller than the United States of.
All right, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens there, but it is looking, I would say it's looking grim. And then we'll see what happens in 2 months, because President-elect Donald John Trump has suggested he could put a really quick end to the war. And we'll see about that, because everybody will be waiting on January 20th to see some decisive action that results in an end to hostilities and ushering in a new era of peace. Speaking of the new administration, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin was asked by some reporter what's going to happen to strengthen another alliance, the alliance between the United States and the Philippines, when the new team takes over on January 20th.
Well, I won't speculate on what policies the new administration may put into play. What I can tell you, though, is that I'm really proud of the work that we've done together with our counterparts, our allies.
Well, decades ago, we were able to put humans on the moon, but we can't get a good audio hookup for a news conference with the defense secretary. But just like we can't get reliable phone service anymore. I remember when I started in radio, 2 things we had: reliable phones and good sounding audio at news conferences. So 2 things that have changed since I got into this business. Moving our attention to Manhattan, NYPD officials say they have arrested a 51-year-old man. He's charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder after a horrific stabbing spree. Who is that? Disregard that. That's for tomorrow. Urgent alert for a guest tomorrow. Anyway, 51-year-old man has been charged with first-degree murder, 3 counts, after a stabbing spree. It left 3 people dead. After the 3rd person was stabbed near the UN building on Monday, bystanders alerted the cops. Actually, they alerted veteran NYPD officer Robert Garvey, who said he jumped into action to take the suspect into custody.
Heard a commotion from where I was, stepped outside, heard what people were saying, and reacted.
It's one of those rare cases where they let an officer, in this case a veteran officer, speak with the media. Surprised. One eyewitness, Baha Bitton, said that after the man stabbed someone, he followed the guy with the knife up First Avenue until he was apprehended by NYPD.
I'm walking with him. I'm saying, drop it, man. It's not worth it. I told him, drop the bag. There's going to be cops up ahead.
So another terrible incident involving violence in Manhattan. It's 9:58. This is Bob Joseph. We've got more coming up, including phone calls on this Thursday morning, right here on WNBF. And we will probably entertain some more calls at some point this morning. If you have something to say, I would be curious to hear what you have to say. It's amazing. It truly is amazing, the stuff that's going on around here. Just when you think you've seen it all, you hear something, it's like, I've been reporting around here for a long time, and I don't think I've ever heard that before. I'm not even sure at this point now it's going to turn out to be a story. I thought there was going to be a story, and there still could be a news story about it. I'm not sure, but Some things you just can't figure out. All right. The listeners are speaking. Julia, maybe from Binghamton. Julia didn't say where she's from. About Ukraine. Trump actually said he could end the conflict in Ukraine even before he took office. So what's the holdup? I agree. I wrote back to Julia. I said, I hope he calls in before noon to announce that he has been successful. So hopefully the conflict in Ukraine can end. Now would be a great day. Here we are. It's about a week, a little over a week before Thanksgiving. We would like something to be thankful for, and an end, finally, mercifully, an end to the hostilities between Russia and Ukraine. If President-elect Donald John Trump can do this, I personally will offer my congratulations. As long as it doesn't mean Putin is declared the winner. It has to be an appropriate, a fair, and reasonable ending to the hostilities. None of this, oh, yeah, we just say it's over, and Ukraine, you're stuck with all these people who've been killed and injured and homes and businesses destroyed. You're stuck with that, and then Vladimir Putin gets to get away scot-free with not even a slap on the wrist for his misbehavior. It's 10:13 WNBF. Let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Tom from Susquehanna.
Hi, Tom.
All right, Bobby. I just want to state that you realize Trump is not president now, right? Right?
I said he's president. I said he's president-elect Donald John Trump.
Right. But why don't you tell that woman that called up about the, saying that, why doesn't he do something? And also, if you listen to your news, Biden administration, it's not Biden, it's the administration, has just authorized that Ukraine could use long-distance missiles. Now, if that happens and they're able to hit Moscow, that's the end of it. Why would you escalate this war when you know you're getting out? Explain that to me, Bobby. Why would Biden escalate that war when he's leaving?
I'm not a spokesperson for the administration.
Well, yes,
call KJP. She is the spokesperson for the administration. Your question should be directed to the press secretary, not to some talk show host in Binghamton. I have no connection with the administration.
Yeah. You're talking about that press secretary? I mean,
KJP.
Is she the dumbest person you've ever seen?
No.
Who's the dumbest person
Now
you've
hold
ever
on
seen?
a second. I think I just found what you were looking for. Hold on. Don't be alarmed.
Okay.
Listen carefully.
I'm not alarmed.
All right. This is Donald Trump during the campaign a few weeks ago, before the election.
You know, a lot of people, the number of people dying in the Ukraine-Russia war is a far greater number than anybody knows. And Biden has done nothing about it. He hasn't even spoken to Putin in over a year. Know nothing about it. And this is a war that has to end, and we're going to get that war ended. I'm going to try, and I think I can, get it ended as president-elect. In other words, before I even take over the White House. Got to stop the people from dying.
Right there. So he said he thinks he can end it even as president-elect. I say, show me the money. Prove once and for all that you can follow through on a promise. You said you think you can end it even as president-elect. Well, you are. Congratulations. You're a winner. You're the president-elect. Today is November 19th. You've been president-elect now for 2 weeks. End the war.
All right, Bob, did you hear what he said? Bob?
Yeah, everybody heard it.
All right.
Let's listen to that. Let's be careful.
He said he was going to try.
Yeah, we'll try harder. Let's listen again so we understand the context.
The number of people dying in the Ukraine-Russia war is a far greater number than anybody knows. And Biden has done nothing about it. He hasn't even spoken to Putin in over a year. Know nothing about it. And this is a war that has to end, and we're going to get that war ended. I'm going to try, and I think I can, get it ended as president-elect. In other words, before I even take over the White House.
Yeah.
Crystal clear, baby. Yes, he's going to try. Well, tell me what he's been president-elect now for 2 weeks. Call if he wants. Either he can call in or he can be on Dan Bongino's program, whichever one he thinks is better. Either call a Binghamton, New York talk show or call a nationwide syndicated talk show that's on hundreds of radio stations, whichever, and tell us today what you've done to get the war ended.
Okay. Hi, Bob. You know what? Hello, Bob?
Yeah.
Bob?
Yes, Tom.
On the air?
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, why don't you make believe that I am Matt Ryan or Vinny from Binghamton or that other new guy, what the heck is his name, Martin, and let me finish my sentences. Let me talk completely, okay? Could you do that?
Continue.
You know, I mean, I'm trying. You seem to be cutting me off.
No. I had to play that so you know that I wasn't making it up. He said he would try to end the Russia-Ukraine war as president-elect. He's been president-elect now for nearly 2 weeks. Now is the time for a progress report.
Yeah. Now, can I explain this now? And then you find out something. But let me explain it all the way through, okay? Okay? Without this cutting people off. I can't make a full statement. You come up with this stuff here. The guy is, 2 weeks in office? And already you're starting your nonsense about how, he's not doing this and he's not doing that. I mean, first of all, did you see what's happening down here with this election with Casey? I mean, and all this time you told me, oh, no, the election was fair. The election was fair. No, he stole that. The Biden got in on a stolen election. Number two, now I forgot what I was going to say. So he's now he's down there. He missed. Well, I'm not going to talk about that. All right, so you let me talk, right? I mean, I'm on the air now.
You're the only thing on WNBF, 92.1 FM and 1290 AM.
Well, you lose your ratings are going to go down if I'm the only thing on it, you know? But, I mean, I can't stand these people with their negative things here. He doesn't even get into it's just he's in the batter's box. And already people are screaming at him, why didn't he make a hit? You know, I mean, give him a chance. He said he would try to end the war. He's certainly not going to be able to do it if Biden lets them have long-distance missiles and they start putting missiles into Moscow. You have to agree with that, right? Do you agree that they should be giving them long-distance missiles?
No. Where did you get the idea I agreed with it? Absolutely not.
Well, yes, you did. You did. You agree with it by just going for it. I mean, the woman calls up and she says, why isn't he stopping it? He said he was going to stop it. Meanwhile, Biden is giving them long-distance missiles. I mean, you should have said to the woman, lady, they're giving them long-distance missiles. That is escalating. That's called escalating the confrontation. And you should be saying no. How can he do it if this guy's going to be if Biden's going to be giving them long-distance missiles? I don't understand it. And even and you're not that bad. At least you give both sides. But some of these other shows, and your friends there, Morning Joe, they're going down there with hat in hand to Mar-a-Lago. And Trump is letting them in the front door. Oh, what did you think of that?
Well, why shouldn't they?
What do you think of Morning Joe?
I'm jealous. If I had the invitation, I would go down too. But I'll never be invited.
You would be invited. Go down. You don't know. You think they asked for an invitation? They went down and knocked on the door.
What? They just went down in the Bloomobile, parked it in front, the no parking zone in front of Mar-a-Lago, and rang the buzzer, pushed the buzzer and said, hey, we're here from the Morning Joe team and the Bloomobile from MSNBC. Let us in. We want to talk with President-elect Donald John Trump. They did that?
That's what they did, from what I understand. I certainly don't think that they invited him down. Hey, Bob, I can hardly hear you. Are you by your phone? I hope it's not my phone. Yeah. Bob?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Bobby.
I'm listening.
All right. You sound way off in the distance.
It's because I'm in Binghamton. You're in Susquehanna. That's like 32 miles.
Yeah, that's true, too. All right. So listen, that's my thing. What do you think about that? You want to talk about Morning Joe?
Sure.
All right. What do you think? Do you think they should have gone down there?
Yes, I'm glad they did. As I said, I wish I got invited. I would go in the drop of a mouse. No, you can't say that because PETA, in the drop of a hat.
Bobby. Yeah. Bobby, you're coming in 5 by 1. I mean, really.
You're coming in 4 by 4.
What? What's 4 by 2?
92 by 1290.
92 by 2. No, honest. Are you standing by your phone? I can't hear. I can hardly hear you. Is this another technique to go after conservatives?
No, I'm listening as loudly as I can.
What?
I'm listening intently. That's the problem.
Yeah, you can hear me clear, right?
Yeah, loud and clear.
What?
Your level is the most clear phone conversation we've had in 2 or 3 days. It's perfect.
All right, I don't know. I can hardly hear you there, and I got my other ear plugged up and everything. Listen, I'm gonna adjust the sound on my phone if there's a way of doing it. Hold on.
No, I guess we lost him. We lost the connection, but I don't know. It sounded fine from my end. I could hear every word, but he couldn't hear me, and that just proves my point about phones that don't work. If President-elect Donald John Trump wants to impress me much, what he ought to do is get the phones working again. Make telephones great again. Fix the phones so they work the way they did when we were kids. It's 10:25 at WNBF. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Bob from Bob.
Hey, what's up?
I wouldn't let Nika Babinski 20 miles from my place. Trump, I love that guy, but I would have told them, you know what I would have told them. Megyn Kelly, Mike Gallagher just played a clip from Megyn Kelly. You know what she said? Blank you. Twice she said it. I love that. Man, those people got nerve. He's a Nazi. He's this. He's that. I can't believe Trump did that. I would have told him, you don't come nowhere near me the way you've treated me for 10 years now. And you're no better. You've been doing it too. Yeah, you people got to get over this. I mean, we're going to be in charge here, and things are going to happen. And I tune in once in a while, and, man, some of the people that call in here.
I'm going to try, and I think I can, get it ended as president-elect. In other words, before I even take over the White House. Got to stop the people from dying.
See, Tommy's right. You're starting in. The guy isn't president yet. Why do you do this? Do you ever look in the mirror and think, what am I doing?
Wait, let me just play that one more time, just to be clear.
I'm going to try, and I think I can, get it ended as president-elect. In other words, before I even take over the White House.
So he said, not me.
He's not president.
He said when he was president-elect, he thought he could get it ended.
Yeah, big deal.
What do you mean? It is a big deal. It's a great deal.
And it's on there now, got it started, and it's been going on for years. What's he doing?
That's what I want to know. He's been president-elect now for nearly 2 weeks.
Ended. I'm going to try, and I think I can, get it ended as president-elect. In other words, before I even take over the White House.
I've got to urge people to call you and act like I do, because something is very wrong with you.
What do you mean, something? Nothing's wrong with me. I believe in accountability. If you say something, you need to be held accountable.
You know what you said for the last 12 years? You have said some... Do you ever go listen to the transcripts of the stuff you've said?
Absolutely not.
You're such a hypocrite. It makes me sick. You're not fair and balanced. Fair and balanced. Yeah, right. You know how many people in this triple cities... I don't know why they don't call and do what I do, but it is sickening.
I know why they don't call and do what you do.
Why?
You know it, too. I'm not going to say it on the air, but you and I both know why most people don't call and do what you do.
They ain't got the blanks to do it. I don't know. I don't know. Like yesterday, this Gary actually made a lot of sense. And you somehow swing him back to your side by the end of the call. Instead of sticking to his guns, he was going, hey, what's it to you, man, if people smoke dope? Like I was saying, you gave me 30 seconds and Gary a half hour. But anyway, yeah, I don't understand. I've been telling you this for years. These people that live around here are good people, and you somehow, those people up in Binghamton, those 3 or 4 people that call, you somehow made them think that you're the all-knowing, all-caring, all this and that, and you're nothing. You run your mouth on the radio.
Which is exactly my job description.
Yeah. Why don't you go report?
I'm going to go out and report as soon as I get out of here. My job requires me to be here in the studio from 9 to noon. Before 9 and after noon, I'm out on the streets reporting.
Get somebody in there that's not so damn biased.
Who? Like who? Who?
Donald Trump's supposed to...
Who? Think about it. Who in Binghamton is better qualified to do a talk show on WNBF?
Me.
No, you're not in Binghamton. You're in Vestal. If you want to be on a radio program in Vestal, go up to the transmitter there on Pierce Hill and start your program and call it Vestal Now.
Oh, and that, John, why are you always butting into Vestal's business? I'm sick of that.
I'm not butting into Vestal's business. I love Vestal. Vestal is one of the best towns.
I'm going to go down and talk to Marie Sexton if they'll let me and say, hey, you got to do something about these people. They're cutting our town down.
I don't cut down Vestal. I support Vestal. It's one of the greatest towns in Broome County.
Me that. I've heard it millions of times. I hope Dave, he'll call, but he laughs at your jokes and I don't know why. I don't know. I'm the only one that's tough on you because I don't like the way you act on this station. You just cut people. Tommy was right, but his phone. You know a lot of the problem? Those cell phones. Get a landline. Cell phones are terrible. All right.
All right, 10-4, good buddy. Thanks for the call. It's 10:31 at WNBF, the accountability station.
I'm going to try, and I think I can, get it ended as president-elect. In other words, before I even take over the White House. Got to stop the people from dying.
It's 10:31, more calls coming up next. Binghamton Now, WNBF. As we continue the talkathon, we go to Mountain Island, North Carolina. Bill, you're on the air.
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to say, Bob from Vestal, I agree with you. Okay. And as far as President Trump ending this war, he's got 2 more months before he becomes president. So, if he doesn't do it in a week, give him a couple months. He may do it. So,
in the meantime, people are dying. People are dying, and the war is escalating, and things are getting out of control. More and more people die. More and more people are killed every day. More and more innocent people are being hurt. More buildings, more homes, more businesses are being destroyed. Time is of the essence. We cannot afford to wait till January 20th. We need President-elect Donald John Trump to follow through on his pledge.
Oh, he's working on it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure too. That's why it's time for him to give a progress report. Here it is, 2 weeks. He's been president-elect. Announced to us what he has done in the last 13 or 14 days to help get the war over.
Well, more than Biden has.
Yeah, that's not good enough. That's why Biden was fired.
Yeah, well, he should be out of there right now.
I can't help it. I agree. Joe Biden ought to resign right now at 10:36 a.m. And at this moment in the Oval Office, Kamala Harris ought to be sworn in, and she can serve as president for the next 61 days. That would solve a lot of things.
I think they should both step off and let President Trump be president starting today.
You can't do it. Constitutionally, you can't do it. If Biden were to leave right now, your President 47, would be Kamala Harris, and then they'd have to throw out all those hats, all those T-shirts, all those coffee mugs, everything, every trinket that's been produced by our friends in China that says Trump 47, all that stuff would have to be trashed.
No, all Biden has to do is sign an executive order.
I agree. I appreciate your call. Thank you. It's 10:36 at WNBF. DJ in Binghamton, you're on the air.
Well, good, happy, God bless, blue sky Binghamton Tuesday. How you doing, Bob?
What? I'm doing great. Never greater. The way I look at it, when only the best will do, I am here for you.
Bob Joseph, I called you up to say this to you, my brother from another mother. You are strong. You're probably and I'm not talking about lifting weights, the strongest man that I know around here, because so many of us would not take that crap, that screaming and some screaming at the other, not the last caller, but you know what I'm saying? Just and you take it. But hey, that's what keeps the station so successful and keeps the calls coming and everything. But don't you get, I know you do, but you can't help it. They call, you people are. But I just called to say, hey, man, what's good? What can we talk about that'll be uplifting?
Yeah, let's talk about something pleasant, something positive, uplifting, something that will make America happy again.
Yes. Something edifying to our spirits that will make Binghamton blessed as we always are. I don't know, man. You guys were talking about the war. It's happening. Italy and Germany went over there. North Korea is fighting side by side. They're in Russia. So things aren't going to slow down. President Trump is not going to stop this World War III, brother. It's in the cards.
Why won't he? Listen, and again, I think people need to listen very carefully to what Donald John Trump actually said before the election. This is not me making anything up. This is Donald John Trump saying it to the American people. This is why he won the election.
I'm going to try, and I think I can, get it ended as president-elect. In other words, before I even take over the White House.
He said it. I didn't make it up. Everybody looks at me like, oh, Bob, why would he say something like that? Hey, I'm the wrong person to ask. As soon as I heard him say it, I thought, you know, man, you're going to win. You're going to win big because you said that. And then after you're President-elect Donald John Trump, you're going to regret it because people will play that soundbite over and over again, and they're going to hold you accountable.
And I'm not trying to be rude, but it's like the salesman, the insurance salesman. You're going to get this much money. You're going to get that. You're going to get that. They get in. He can't. It's in the cards. World War III is going to happen.
Well, no, World War III isn't going to happen. But I'm telling you, the president-elect had better step up his game. He's wasting time. As I said, he's had nearly 2 weeks to get on this. Now, I understand immediately after the election, for the first 24 hours, he and Melania had to celebrate, and that's understandable. They went through a challenging campaign, so I understand you need 24 hours to kind of decompress. So we'll say he's had 12 full days to be able to do this, and so far there are no reports of progress.
Decompose, the Seinfeld say. You know, she's not even staying with him. Let me tell you this. You know, we got to agree to disagree, brother. I'm not a doom and gloomer. Never have been, never will. Been a Pentecostal preacher since the late 80s. I don't do doom and gloom, but it is there. Look at North Korea with Russia.
Don't worry about that. It's going to be resolved. If President-elect Donald John Trump can't resolve it before it becomes World War III, then his successor, who will be sworn in on January 20th, 2029, then she'll do it. But the question is, do we want to waste that much time? Because every single day that the war between Russia and Ukraine drags on means more death, more injury, more destruction, and it's all unnecessary. None of this is necessary. And that's the one thing I think President Putin and President Zelensky would agree, that none of this is necessary.
The best thing that ever happened and probably will happen with President DJ Trump is John Bones Jones handing them the belt.
Well, I guess it's all downhill from there.
No, not downhill. Not downhill.
If that's the best thing that's happened to him, I thought you were going to say the best thing that ever happened to him when he was with Marla Maples.
He's not going to change what's in the cards.
Is he going to get back together with Marla Maples?
No.
Yes. What if he does, though? And again, this is just idle speculation, but that's what we have to do on this program to help fill some of the minutes. What if he decided to get back together with Marla Maples?
Then they'll have a child, and they'll name it Oak. So his name will be Oak Maples.
How about... No, I can't say that. You know, I do like genuine maple syrup, and so Marla Maples ought to be like a spokesperson for New York State maple syrup.
Hey, how about Caroline Levitt, the new speaker there? She's interesting. She's my Facebook friend. She's a very good speaker. Well, you know, it's a beautiful day. We got to get out there.
All right. I'm not concerned. I'm monitoring. I'll continue to monitor. Appreciate your call. I do think that we live in interesting times where this would be tantamount to Babe Ruth announcing, even before he got in the batter's box, that he's going to try to get a hit, even before he stepped up to bat.
I'm going to try, and I think I can, get it ended as president-elect. In other words, before I even take over the White House.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. And that's one of the joys of modern life. We do have tapes. It's 10:43. Bob Joseph taking calls from you, the home viewers, 607-772-1290. We're live every weekday morning from 9 to noon, 92.1 FM, 1290 AM, and stay connected in North Carolina with the free WNBF app. And at 10:47, we return to the busy phones to the town of Union. Tom in Endwell, you're on the air.
Good morning, Bob. So I'm definitely listening to this, the whole conversation. And it's funny because on the internet, this same conversation's kind of like being talked about, and everybody that, kind of putting their 2 cents in on the left, they're not even acknowledging the fact that Trump said that way prior, before the Democratic machine allowed or given thumbs up for Ukraine to launch these long missiles to escalate the war even further. So how do you expect someone to go in there and fix it when the other side is going to escalate it and could possibly escalate it completely way out of control? So to me, it seems like the left, the Democrats, people like yourself, would be more worried and ticked off that the Biden administration is going to allow the war to get escalated even further. That's dangerous. That's like me bringing you and saying, "Hey, Bob, can you fix this building?" And you're like, "Yeah, I think I can get in there and fix it." And then I come in with a massive wrecking ball and rip it down. Can you still fix it? Or now do you have to rebuild it? Some common sense, on that topic. But I can tell you, I can promise everybody this: at the end of the day, the Democrats will blame all of this on the Republicans when it's all said and done. It'll be all the Republicans' fault because that's how they operate. And the last thing, this whole Matt Gaetz thing, if the Democrats and the Republicans really cared about those kind of allegations, why are they hiding everything on Weinstein? Why are they hiding everything on P. Diddy? Why are they hiding everything on Epstein? And they're the only ones that been slightly exposed. So obviously they don't care about those kind of allegations, because I'm sure that you will see politicians on both sides of the aisle highly involved. I mean, you got Oprah Winfrey. I mean, she's an icon. She's tied in with P. Diddy.
All right. I don't want to hear anything more about P. Diddy or anyone like that. These allegations about P. Diddy, he's not here to defend himself.
Bob, it's the truth.
Well, you could say it on the internet. That's why the internet is there. Go to the internet and say it all you want. Don't talk about that anymore on this program.
Okay, so you don't like the truth. Be a journalist.
I don't want to hear anything more about that. If he's going to be talked about, it's going to be after his next hearing. Actually, we'll talk about him again. I think he has a bail hearing scheduled for next week. And after the judge decides whether he can be released on bail pending further court action, then we'll talk about him.
Do you know who he campaigned for?
I don't care. It's irrelevant. I don't care who anybody campaigned for. It's 10:51 at WNBF. Morning, you're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Cliffy from the Ward.
Hey, welcome back, my friend, to the show that isn't going to end till noon.
No, I was just waiting for somebody to come in like Tom saying Trump made that statement well before what Biden just did to escalate this war by letting them use U.S. missiles to hit Moscow. That is what is going to escalate the war, and Trump had nothing to do with that statement that Joe Biden let Ukraine use those missiles. Thank you.
Yeah, nobody said President-elect Donald John Trump has anything to do with Joe Biden. That meeting they had a few days ago, it's just a stunt. It's a media event.
I'm going to try, and I think I can, get it ended as president-elect. In other words, before I even take over the White House.
I mean, why would somebody say that? Somebody who would say that during a campaign is only setting himself up for failure. It's 10:52. Good morning, WNBF. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning there, Bob. It's Dave from Vestal. Hey, first of all, I got to tell you, Bob, I enjoy civil discourse with you on the air. I don't have to scream, holler, and show you disrespect to get my point across. Now, after saying that, have faith, Bob. Trump is smart. He does have common sense. And I predict the first thing he does is he gets a hold of Zelensky there, and he puts a stop to them launching those missiles. He won't even use them. Then Trump will go from there on stopping the war totally. But that'll be the first thing he does. You watch and see. Because
well, then he has Zelensky's phone number, so he ought to call Zelensky right now. Right now, call up President Zelensky and say, don't, even though Joe Biden said you could, do not. This is President-elect Donald Trump talking on the phone directly to you from Mar-a-Lago. Do not even think of using those missiles or else. That's what Donald John Trump, the president-elect, really needs to do right now before it's too late. We can't wait 62 days for him to stop the war. We need him to stop the war now.
He won't have to threaten them not to launch those missiles because Zelensky will use common sense too.
Well, Zelensky is scared of President-elect Donald John Trump. A lot of people are scared because he's unpredictable. And that's why he can probably work well with President Putin. They're both unpredictable. But President-elect Donald John Trump needs to get on the phone right now from Mar-a-Lago, put down the Big Mac, put down the Quarter Pounder, put down that Diet Coke, call up President Zelensky and make it perfectly clear you are not under any circumstances to even think about using those missiles.
Yeah, he won't do it threateningly. He doesn't have to threaten them to do it.
That's not a threat. That's a promise. Just make the statement. It's not a threat. Under no circumstances are you to use the missiles that Joe Biden just said you could. Don't. That's not a threat. That's a statement.
Yeah.
That's what I would call friendly advice.
Not one missile will be launched. You watch and see.
Right. Maybe because he's already called. That's a good step. And he should actually go public with it. He should go public by calling in right after the 11 o'clock news and say, Bob, I heard you yapping about all this, and I'm not going to go into great detail, but I can confirm that I spoke with President Zelensky at about 10:55, and I told him, despite what Joe Biden says, don't even think of using those missiles against Russia. I didn't threaten him. I gave him some friendly advice. And he said, yes, President-elect Donald John Trump, I agree with you. I shall not use those missiles.
Have the faith, Bob. He'll handle it.
Yeah. I have faith, baby.
Okay.
Blind faith. Showing my age. But, you can never forget some of those treasured musical acts from the 20th century. Well, our program seems to be going delightfully now. We've been renewed for one more big hour of broadcasting. You'll hear it exclusively on WNBF 92.1 FM, 1290 AM, streaming at WNBF.com, and stay connected using the free WNBF app. Stay tuned. I'm Bob Joseph. Call in and win an opportunity to speak to the world via the WNBF app, online, WNBF.com, on the radio, 92.1 FM, 1290 AM. Multiple platforms offering you the ability to connect with billions and billions of your friends and fans on planet Earth. Good morning, you're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Joe from Owego.
Good morning.
Yes. There is a meteorological event occurring along the west coast of the United States. It concerns all kinds of aspects of climate and weather and so forth. And is there anyone in the listening audience or anyone in the nation that can explain to the rest of us what the relationship of carbon dioxide is to that meteorological event now occurring on the west coast of the United States? I would appreciate it.
All righty, we'll throw that out there. I'm sure somebody can offer a reasonable explanation. That's my belief. That's my hope. We'll see about that, won't we? Still waiting to see if the war has ended. Still, the latest indications are there's no end in sight. But I'm prepared to report any positive developments. So if you have information about the war ending soon, I'd say that would be great. That would be fantastic. I like to read some of the stories out of the New York Post, but so much of the New York Post has turned into just fluff. I think the New York Post has lost its way. I mean, to be sure, they're covering some important state and national stories, and then there's a tremendous amount of just, it's almost like that marshmallow fluff that they used to sell on the store shelves. 11:13 WNBF, good morning. Good morning. You are on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from? Let's try this line. Hi, WNBF. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, yeah, this is Cliffy from the ward again.
Wait a second. You were just on.
Joe.
Wait a second. You were just on.
Quick.
Wait. No, you have to call in tomorrow. Cliffy from the ward was just on just barely 20 minutes ago. Good morning, WNBF. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
This is Eric from Enwell.
Hey, Eric, what's going on?
I have a hard time hearing you. But I've caught an accident on the east side of Binghamton yesterday. And my question is these e-bikes, I mean, they're not registered, they're not insured, no inspection. Sometimes they're not even wearing helmets. I'm not understanding why all of us, including me, you, yourself, and all of our friends, have to have all of our motorized vehicles gone through all the protocols, and then these e-bikes drive around town, and there's not just a couple anymore. There's a means of transportation. I don't understand why they don't have to be inspected and registered.
Because the legislature hasn't acted on it yet. I think sometime soon the state legislature is going to deal with that issue. And I think the time it's overdue. It needs to be done because a lot of people are driving around on these unlicensed motorized vehicles, and they're a danger to themselves and to others.
Well, yeah, you can get DWI driving with them. I mean, it's not just bicycles, Bob. It's they got electric skateboards now. They got little scooters, mopeds. The list goes on. Sometimes I've seen trailers, little baby trailers hooked up to the back of them. They're hauling around kids.
Oh, I see it too. I see it all the time, man.
Well, there was a bad accident on the east side of Binghamton last night, and it didn't end well. And unfortunately, prayers to the family. But if you're gonna go illegally on these things, at least wear a helmet. You even have a caller that calls in about football and says, the helmets don't protect the head, only the outside. But I mean, at least it's protecting something.
Well, I agree. That's been my position all along. Is people should be careful.
I have 3 cars, actually 4, that are insured in my name. They're all registered. They're all inspected. They're all up to date on all the New York State protocols that they ask us to follow. I don't know why legislation is taking so long, but maybe this phone call will make somebody's head turn.
I hope it does. I hope for the sake of the innocent families. It's always a shame that we have to hear about these tragedies time and time again.
I always swore by four wheels, Bob.
All right. Appreciate it. By the way, anything going on around your place there in Endwell?
Well, the empty lot got bought, and then there's the next door neighbors bought it. They have a playground on it now, so it looks better than the.
I mean, where that the crack house was?
Yeah, meth lab. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, meth lab. I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize for those who are running the meth lab. What I meant to say was meth lab, and I inadvertently said crack house because I was there. Remember, I was there, the only local media to cover when the meth lab was torn down.
Yeah, and it sat there for 4 years, so I got you involved.
Well, I like to say I'm on your side, man.
Who do I reach out to? Like right now with these motorized vehicles, let's see if you can make something happen here.
I hope so. I appreciate your call. Thank you.
Hey, by the way, I never got my Frankenberry this year.
Nor did I. I didn't get Frankenberry. I didn't get Count Chocula. I didn't get any of the other monster cereals. I saw none of them. I guess they had a limited run, and I missed out.
Maybe we were too busy talking on the radio.
That's the problem, but I guess I'd rather be talking on the radio than eating delicious, sugary cereals.
Well, you enjoy your moxie. I'll talk to you another few months.
All right, thanks, Eric. There's a story from Endwell making contemporary news. 607-772-1290. Bob Joseph, I get action. If there's a meth lab in your neighborhood, let me know. After the place is heavily damaged by a meth lab fire, Bob Joseph will step in, and eventually it'll be torn down. And then your neighbor can buy the property and put up some swings and stuff for their kids. Improving one neighborhood at a time. Bob Joseph, on your side. Sounds like a station promo. Except for the fact that it's true. 1119. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
This is Valerie from Binghamton.
Welcome. Are you a first-time caller?
I am not. I am not afraid to call. I just call when I can.
Okay. Well, welcome to the program. Good morning.
So, good morning. I just was listening. I agree with Eric. I see all kinds of those e-mobiles all over the place, and people just, they're out of control. But anyway, the reason I called, is WNBF going to be in the Johnson City Parade on the 5th of December?
Well, I don't know. I would think so, but I don't know for sure. I know, okay. I see, oh no, that's about the pancake breakfast. I thought I saw something that was in here from the parade, but I don't see it right now. But usually we have the last few years.
Yeah. And then I noticed on my way out today that Paulownia tree on Main Street, kind of kitty-cornered from the Bundy Museum. You did a story on that last October where there were shots fired. The guy just cut that huge tree down today, so that's all cleaned up. But that's just remarkable, that shrub tree that's in front of that house there.
Well, you had mentioned that after that shooting incident on Main Street near the Bundy Museum. I hadn't paid close attention. I was more mesmerized. Of course, they had to shut down Main Street after the shooting, but I was more mesmerized by the beautiful American flag that was on display at the shooting scene. Anytime that I go to a shooting scene or any of these news events, if they have an American flag going on, even if it's a sad story, I still am proud to be an American if they're flying the flag.
God bless the USA.
We're the best. We're the best. We may not be perfect, but I'll tell you, Val, we're the best.
You betcha.
Thank you.
Yep.
11:21 at WNBF. That's right. If wherever you are, fly the American flag proudly. And, I mean, I've seen a lot of these places, the shooting scenes and other crime scenes. And meth labs and other places, they may sometimes ignore the law or even break the law. And even though there is clear evidence of criminality, I do feel much better when I'm at the scene and they're flying the American flag proudly. That way I know that they're patriotic Americans. Maybe they've made some mistakes. Maybe they've made some poor choices, but they love their country as I do. It's 11:22 WNBF. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Bob. This is Vinny from Binghamton.
Welcome. Welcome, Vinny, to the program.
Well, thank you. You know, I been hearing people talk about Joe Biden and getting these, how can I say, protective measures that they'll need for Russia. You know, I don't know why these last callers that have talked about that, how come you guys haven't mentioned anything about Putin? Ukraine's not invading Russia. They're not invading Russia. Russia's invading Ukraine. They're the ones, and Biden gave it to protect them. Well, that might escalate the war. Well, you know what? That's what a president has to do. Did you forget about Obama and what he inherited? He inherited 2 wars, which we were actually in. And the mastermind was still out there because George Bush said, whatever, and left us to go get Osama bin Laden. So once he gets in, and that's why I really don't want to talk too much about Donald Trump because he's not in there. But I can't, like I've told my friends, Bob, sit back and watch Mr. Magic, President Magic. Watch him do his magic, man. You know, it's so funny. Just in our paper the other day, Muslims for Trump voters, they're upset by the pro-Israeli cabinet picks. This is this guy. He was some investor down there. He chaired the Abandon Harris campaign in Pennsylvania and co-founded Muslims for Trump. Oh, they're upset already because of his cabinet picks. That's what I'm saying. Just sit back and watch this guy. And I'm telling you, Joe Biden was mad at Obama because he didn't take Putin seriously. This guy, guys, Donald Trump doesn't know what he's playing with Putin. He has no idea. I mean, Bob, I could see him making Donald Trump look like Neville Chamberlain, man. Oh, look at, he said he wasn't going to do anything. All right. I settled it. And then he'll go right in. They'll bomb. And then that's it. And so help me, we put troops on the ground, guys. Or maybe Putin says, hey, you know what? I'm going to cut some of our oil production. You're going to see them prices go through the roof. And we got 4 years. Inflation better stay the same way it is or go down. Cost of living, same or go down. Job market, the recession, crime, immigration. In 4 years, it better be exactly where it is now or lower. Because if it's higher, you vote him in. And if he puts tariffs on all this stuff's going up. And I want to say this last thing, Bob. Like I told you, I get the Barron's magazine, and it's a letter to the president-elect. It's from Barron's. It's from Matt Peterson. He's a politics and policy columnist. This is what he says, just real quick. It says, congratulations on your historic victory. You not only won electoral college for the first time, but the first time a majority of the popular vote. This should put an end to the ceaseless questionings about your democratic legitimacy. You are the president most Americans want. But much has changed in the economy since you left office in 2021. You're inheriting an amazing recovery, but that can change quickly. So I just think of that. He's inheriting an amazing recovery. So just sit back. Let him get in there, and I believe with some of these Trump supporters, you're right. He's not even in there yet. Let him pick his cabinet, let him do all this kind of stuff, and then in January when he gets in, it's all his, buddy. Whether it's a war or not, it's all yours. Well, Joe Biden should... Nope. It's yours. It's yours, okay? It's all yours. And that's when things are going to hit the fan, man. We're going to see what happens. In 4 years... we better be exactly where we are now or better. 4 years. Just remember that.
I bet we will. I bet we'll be in better shape in 4 years. I bet on January 20th, 2029, this country will be in superb shape.
No, well, Bob, you know what? That's what I'm saying. It can't. I bet we will. No, it must be.
Okay, it must be. I agree with you. A lot of people say you and I disagree. This is one thing I can agree with you on. It must be better. On January 20th, 2029, this country must be better.
Well, they've also said, too, letter to Trump, leave Powell alone and keep an eye on Musk.
All right. I agree with the part about keeping an eye on Musk. I'm starting to get really concerned about Musk. Thank you. It's 11:27, WNBF, with more calls from around the area. Hi, WNBF, you're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Georgia from the West Side.
Hey, what's up?
I'm so glad to say hello to you. I haven't talked to you in a while.
Welcome back.
Thanks. I just want to tell Vinny that he is absolutely fabulous because everything he said is going to come true. Honest, I'm glad somebody else said it because I've been thinking the same thing. But what are you going to do? We got to wait.
Well, wait. We have time.
Yeah.
We have the luxury of time. I have 4 years. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to all the great improvements that will start in 62 days.
I know. It's 62 days, Bob. Okay, yeah. Yay. Well, it's good to say hello to you.
All right. Thank you. Don't be a stranger.
Oh, no, I won't. Thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. 11:28. WNBF, good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, Jesse from Owego, Bob. How are you doing today?
Superb. What's on your mind?
Well, I forget where I heard it from. It was somewhere on the news. There's going to be a 4-year boat cruise. So that way you can escape the reins of Trump when he takes office. And I forget the price. I think it's like $250,000.
Oh, great. So that means Elon Musk will be on. So kind of, as they say, it kind of defeats the purpose. You're on a 4-year cruise, and Elon Musk and his buddies are on. Probably drinking, probably having party favors. Wink, wink, if you know what I mean. So, yeah.
I get you.
Yeah. So, yeah, great. So I booked the cruise to have a good time, and it's the usual suspects, party favors, and all the rest.
Well, you know what? When the weekend gets ready to come up on Friday, I can no longer tell you to have a great weekend and drink responsibly. Now I'm going to have to say smoke and drink responsibly.
Yes. Thank you, Kathy Hochul.
It's the legal weed. There you go.
Kathy Hochul encouraging everybody over the age of 21 to go buy some weed and grab a 4-pack. No, I know most of our listeners are going, 4-pack? What? We usually get the 52-pack.
Exactly. Well, 52, that's too heavy. I'm getting old.
Well, then get 2 26-packs.
Oh, that might. Well, okay.
That way you're balanced out. And then you can put the big sack of weed in the hat on your head.
Well, there we go. And now we got this fight with Burger King now. Now they're coming out with a Whopper for $1.
Why are Burger Kings, are they starting? I think they got jealous because of all the attention their competitor got with the onions. So are Burger Kings going to start putting those onions on their Whoppers so they can get some news attention?
Well, if they deliver for free, I would gladly purchase.
Okay. Well, you've given us a lot of food for thought. I hope you have a great day.
You as well, Bob.
WNBF. It's like, yeah, it goes from strange to stranger. But that's okay. That's why we're here. We're here to document every development on Binghamton Now. 607-772-1290. Still time for you to call. I'm here till noon. I'm not going to leave early because I have a work ethic. Binghamton Now, WNBF. Let's return to the busy phones on a Tuesday morning. Chris in Binghamton, you're on the air.
Bob, how are you? Good Wednesday. What is it? Today's Tuesday or Wednesday?
It's Thursday. It's Thursday. You fell asleep. It's Thursday.
It is not. That's payday for all my men. It is not Thursday.
Okay, it's Tuesday.
So it is nice to talk to you. It's been a little bit. I am just calling to voice my approval of Donald Trump and his cabinet selections. I find that any Democrat that is out there screaming or watching their heads spin off because of his selections, those are definitely the ones we need to appoint to the offices that he has appointed them to. And that's what I have to say.
All right.
If they're screaming loudly about them, then they definitely need to be operating our government.
Matt Gaetz. What about him, though?
Yes. Oh no. Hey, I don't think that there's any problem with Matt Gaetz. I think he will tell us American citizens what we understand to believe to ourselves what is going on in the Justice Department. The politicization of our legal systems in this country is very damaging to a country. And I do believe that Matt will do a very good job. And Pete Hegseth, he seems to be a very good soldier, was a good soldier, loves the services, and I think the soldiers will take a liking to him and be very proud to serve under him. Is what my.
But what about the women in the military?
As much as I like women in the military, I don't think combat is the right place for women in the military. I think it makes a foxhole a little complicated sometimes with men and women. They are younger men with.
Well, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I find that sex comes into play. How's that? And that breeds a weak army. How's that? Or
I don't know that it would.
Military.
I don't know that it would weaken the army. It might improve overall morale. I think you'd get a rise in morale if.
I think.
Hypothetically.
I think in the killing world, in the killing business, I think men do a much better job. I think women are very good leaders. Don't get me wrong, Bob. I think they are very, very good leaders.
All right.
But I think they should be in so to say, in hand-to-hand combat. I don't. And that's just my opinion. I hope you all understand.
I respect your opinion.
So, you have yourself a great day.
Thank you.
Bob, thanks for taking our phone calls.
Thank you. If you have a chance, call in more frequently.
Thanks, Bob. Have a good day.
1136 WNBF with Bob Joseph. Hey, call in more frequently if you have a chance. I do understand a lot of our core listeners are really busy from 9 to noon because they're doing stuff. So I appreciate that a lot of times, even if you want to, you just don't have the time to spend waiting to get on the program. So call in when you can. Matt from Binghamton, good morning. You're on the air.
Too much time. So anyway.
Do you have enough time?
I do, especially when the weather gets cold and I can't play as much golf.
That's true. You're not going to be golfing a lot over the next few months. That's probably
we'll be
true.
Tomorrow. But anyway, the thing that gets me is the fact that Matt Gaetz did not get prosecuted proves there has been no weaponization. He is the guy that absolutely proves there has been no weaponization of the Justice Department. And in fact, if there was weaponization of the Justice Department under the Democrats, Donald Trump would have had a whole bunch of Russian collusion charges against him, because he would have, what Mueller would have said was, we're going against precedent. We're not going to, protect the president against Russian collusion, which if you read the report, all these people, just because Barr did his fell to the feet of Donald Trump and came out and said there was no Russian collusion. If you read the report, there was 10 instances of Russian collusion in that report. So these two things prove there's no weaponization. What's going to happen if Matt Gaetz gets in there is the absolute weaponization of the Justice Department. That's why Donald Trump is going to bat for somebody who is so fatally flawed that I hope he doesn't make it, but that's why he's going to bat for him, because he wants somebody. He's always wanted somebody there. Go back to when he was trying to protect himself. He was firing everybody. He was going to put somebody in there, and everybody said, "We're leaving if you do that." So, it's just everything that Donald Trump. It's like George Costanza. Do the opposite. Say you don't do something, and that means you've done it. That's who Donald Trump is. If you put Matt Gaetz in there, you have the absolute weaponization of the Justice Department, which has never. Well, it happened under Trump. Tried to make it happen. He didn't completely fail, but he failed, to take it over completely. And I think he was going to put in that Jeffrey Clark guy that would have done all his bidding, and basically ran out of time. And that's what his vengeance has been all about. And Matt Gaetz will be. If Matt Gaetz gets in there, then our democracy and everything we fought for all these years will start to completely unravel.
Would I say that if he gets in, heck, even if he doesn't get in, he still could bring all the party favors to Mar-a-Lago. See what I'm saying? So it's a win-win. I mean, Justice Department probably would like more party favors, and if for some reason he's not confirmed by the Senate, then he could still come to Mar-a-Lago and he could be director of party favors.
Yeah, go tell the people and the women in the Israeli army that they're not good at what they do.
Well, and that's another thing. Women in other countries, including Israel, have shown time and time again they're extremely competent on the battlefield. Even U.S. military women have proven time and again their competence and their skills in the military, in combat situations.
I haven't studied that issue so closely. But
I haven't studied it very closely, but based on what I've read. Now, if somebody has evidence to the contrary, I think they should call Dan Bongino from noon to 3. But based on what I've read, I believe that to be true. Appreciate your call.
Okay, thank you.
1141 WNBF. Yeah, if you disagree, call in to Dan Bongino. He's on from noon to 3 right here on WNBF. If you agree with me, give me a call, 607-772-1290. I'm Bob Joseph. This is Binghamton Now, WNBF. Richard from Binghamton Southside, good morning.
Good morning, Bob. How are you?
I am well. How are things?
Things are well. In fact, I want to first thank you for helping the Binghamton community to learn more about the fluoride situation. And I challenged the mayor to provide the scientific evidence that he claims to have, because I have provided mine, and I will do so publicly. I mean, I've done it to the commission already. But I'm calling about another issue, actually, today. Tonight at the MacArthur School, I'll be giving a presentation about the proposed changes in the zoning law, which covers the whole city of Binghamton.
And that's another matter that the commission has been reviewing recently. It hasn't, I don't believe it's provided a recommendation yet to City Council?
Yes, that's correct. You're absolutely correct. And this Thursday at 1:15, we will have a meeting to address that issue, and we expect to vote on a statement to that effect as a recommendation. And of course, the meetings are open to the public. They're at City Hall, and there is a placed there for public comment early in the meeting, just as the city council has. So if anybody wants to come down and voice their opinions, they can. And part of the reason I'm going to the meeting tonight is to help inform people about the zoning, because many of them didn't get too much information, or they got it a couple of months ago when it first came out.
All right. Well, now more people are aware, and keep me posted, okay?
Okay, thank you very much. So let me just say this, at MacArthur School at 7 p.m. tonight.
And that's open to everybody in Binghamton?
Well, it's open to everybody, and I'll give a presentation and answer questions.
All right. Thanks for the...
If they want to go to the city website, they can look up RL 24-162. That's the number given to the legislation. And I think after we make our recommendation, it's not going to be too long before the city council addresses the issue. But there are a number of meetings that have taken place, and people can find those on YouTube, both the city council planning committee, and we've also had discussions on this in the past, the Commission for Conservation of the Environment.
Thank you so much, Richard.
You're very welcome, Bob, and have a great day.
You too. It's 11:46. We go from the south side to the first ward. Martin in Binghamton, you're on the air.
Yeah, Bob. About the appointments, a couple of things from the Sunday shows. I don't know if you remember Dr. Deborah Birx, who was with Fauci and was on the Trump.
Oh, when he was talking about injecting yourself with Clorox. Do you remember the look on her face?
That's exactly what. Yes, she couldn't. She wanted to just shrivel up and die. She couldn't. She talked about that in her book, and she talked about that. That it's just one of the most embarrassing moments of her life, and it just had a big effect on her. And so, but and she's really upset about Kennedy because she spent most of her life working on HIV and AIDS, and of course with Fauci also, and which developed the vaccine. And Kennedy says there is no connection between HIV and AIDS, which is just absolutely ludicrous. And that he's also, since he's got involved in this discussion of vaccinations, measles has gone up 20% in the worldwide, and he's also mainly calling for an end to research and development for 8 years. What about cancer? Okay, you want to end it in our lifetime? And what about as winter's coming? You know, the COVID, how many mutations have they had? You know, these things are always mutating. They want to live. They want to move forward, and this guy wants to stop all research and development. It's just bizarre, you know. And also about Kelsey Gabbard, John Brennan from CIA on Face the Nation, talking about that going back to Syria and stuff, that she was basically an apologist for Assad, saying that he didn't do the chemical weapons in Aleppo. When
well, here's the thing. She's entitled to her opinion.
Yeah, but it was founded by the government that they certainly were guilty.
No, I know what the government said. I'm saying she certainly is entitled to go on TV and express her opinion. Doesn't mean she's qualified for a government job.
That's right. That's what he's...
I mean, lots of people have opinions. Even people on MSNBC have opinions. It doesn't mean they're going to get a job in the new administration.
Well, that's what Brennan's talking about. He goes, how can we... What are other countries going to think? How are we going to protect their secrets? How are they going to trust us? Because she's also been featured on Russian TV.
RT, the RT channel. Yeah. Everybody used to watch RT. Remember, they got... kicked out. Didn't RT get kicked out because it was a propaganda outfit in the U.S.?
Yes, it was. I believe so. But Brennan was head of the CIA, and like he says, there'd be considerable trust issues with this. If she's already saying that, and that she's a bad pick, doesn't have any intelligence experience.
But she could get some experience. A lot of people don't have experience till they get hired. Then some of the best experience you can get is on the job.
Yeah, well, I'll give you the name again. Michael Brown. Brownie. How's it doing, Brownie? The horse trainer.
Oh, doing a heck of a job. Brownie did a heck of a job after Katrina.
Brownie. Yeah, people are on roofs. People are dying. Bodies floating all over.
Yeah, it was even thanks to the superior reporting of Shepard Smith on Fox News Channel, of all places. That's how a lot of America got to see what a heck of a job Brownie was doing after Katrina. That was one of the true cases where, from a journalistic standpoint, Fox News Channel really covered a story with excellence, not necessarily because they were Fox, but because of the journalistic instinct and the expertise of Shep Smith, who, as you may know, eventually left Fox because he couldn't stand what was going on there.
Yeah, well, nobody could stand what was going on there, but he's a glaring case of nepotism. And, the main thing is that you can't put the health of the United States into a guy that, has a freezer full of roadkill. And, he had all that mercury in his head, and it's just not right.
But, I don't know. I don't want to say he's just not right. I'll say he's interesting. I think he's very interesting. That much, I think, is pretty accurate. Don't you agree? He's very interesting. He would be one of the most interesting cabinet members in our lifetime.
Yeah, it was very interesting look on his face when they took that picture the other day.
Oh, where everybody's eating the fast food, and somebody put some Mac burgers. I can't even remember what it was, if it was a quarter pounder with extra onions or a triple Mac or something. So he's got this stuff from one of America's most popular restaurants. You have to admit that. It's extremely popular and very good tasting foods. But, the truth is, if you look closely, RFK Jr. seemed appalled that somebody snapped a picture while the other team members were enjoying their food, because you can bet, well, at least I don't think RFK ordered that stuff. I think it was put in front of him. He's probably thinking, like, what are you trying to make me look like, a hypocrite? I mean, that's what.
Well, Jon Stewart did a nice bit on that.
Well, what did Jon Stewart have to say?
Look at that moment in time, that look, and
I actually felt badly for him.
Well, I don't feel bad for him.
Why?
At all.
He didn't ask for that. He must have been embarrassed.
Well, of course he's embarrassed, but that just shows that this is the diet that Trump has. That this is what a dichotomy. You got a guy here that's talking all about great food and diet, and you got this guy that's his freaking diet. Mostly, but he had 10 times the mercury in his head. And remember, I was saying last week, don't you remember they used to put mercury in our cavities and fill it up?
They used to put mercury in our thermometers.
And we had to have it drilled back out, like one of my favorite comedians, politicians, not politicians, but activists, Bill Maher. He's talking about, just like religion. They drill religion in your head when you're younger, and you need to drill it back out.
That's what Bill Maher says.
Oh God, yes.
Really?
Yeah, years ago. Oh, that's an old line of his.
Really?
Oh God, yes. Look it up if you want.
I don't really want to, but I'll take your word for it. I have no reason to doubt it. I found that intriguing.
They call the reason of the age of reason 7 years old. I mean, come on. How much reason does a 7-year-old have? And they're pumping these stories into you about a guy in a boat inside a whale's mouth, and on and on and on. it's just that, and they know now that, men don't really develop. They develop later than women, that they're really capable faculties are at their best about in their mid-20s. So, but anyway, I just love that part about, you need to have that drilled back out.
Drill, baby, drill. That's what I always say, drill, baby, drill. Appreciate your call.
Look at those Catholic priests.
I'll talk to you later. Thanks. It's 11:55 at WNBF. So I'm looking up at the screen, and my gas buddy, Patrick DeHaan, you remember he was just on, about a week and a half ago. He was on, wasn't he on, 2 weeks ago, right before the election, and he was talking about the gas prices. Now he's on CNN News talking about gas prices, and he says Trump tariffs on imported oil could spike gas prices. So that, I didn't even consider that because President-elect Donald John Trump is planning to slap lots of taxes on us, and that's what tariffs are. I know people, it's a tariff. We don't have to worry about tariffs. Yeah, well, yeah, if there are new tariffs, you do have to worry because U.S. companies aren't going to pay the tariff. If there's a tariff on stuff made in China or stuff made anywhere else in the world, and a tariff is assessed for stuff that's imported into the U.S., well, who gets stuck paying the tab? Good people like you and me. So call it a tariff if you must, but in fact, it's going to be a tax. It's going to mean good people like you, and even people like me, will wind up paying more for the great stuff that we buy. Whole point of our economy is to buy stuff, not just the usual amount of stuff, to keep buying more stuff. Because the more stuff you and I buy, the more stuff that we all buy, the better off big companies are going to be and the shareholders. So that's why we need to buy more, but it'll be tougher to buy more if these tariffs go through, because the prices will be higher and we won't be able to buy as much good stuff from China. So that's what I'm concerned about. Anyway, that's the program for today. It will, though, continue tomorrow from 9 to noon. I'm Bob Joseph. This has been Binghamton Now on WNBF and WNBF.com.